Okay, so let's get ready to begin. Okay, so this class is a little bit slower, much slower actually. So you can either do this seated down, or you can also do it standing up as well. So it's more kind of more body awareness. And we're going to use the band a little bit as well. So you can, if you want, you can grab that as well. Sometimes you might feel a little bit lightheaded if you're not used to breathing kind of this deeply. So if you do feel lightheaded, just stop at any point. You can also just move a little bit more. So you can just kind of move your arms a little bit more, move your legs a little bit more. That will help a little bit of the lightheadedness. Usually what happens if we breathe a lot, the amount of oxygen in your body kind of increases, the carbon dioxide in your body decreases, and that difference compared to your usual would usually make people a little bit lightheaded as well. Okay, so we're going to start off with just more kind of being more aware of our posture. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to just, a lot of us when we sit it down, it's going to be more like this. Okay, so let's just try to find the middle point. So you're going to try to almost kind of what we usually do in the morning. It just help to kind of loosen up the spine a little bit, so you can breathe out a little bit as you just round slightly, or just back to our usual kind of be sitting pose. Okay, and almost try to gently bring your heart up a little bit. Okay, and you can just go back and forth just a few times first. So you're still breathing out. Okay, only go to your pain-free range. Okay, so don't try too hard, especially if you have osteoporosis. Okay, but you're gently going back and forth. Okay, you're gently squeezing your shoulders back as well, and also feel what your pelvis is doing as well. So there's a what we in English we call a sit bone. So usually we sit further back. Okay, so you want to sit almost a little bit more forward. So it's not just your back moving, it's also your pelvis kind of tilting backwards and also tilting forward. Okay, so you're kind of sucking something in a little bit as you kind of round your back, and also pushing your belly button forward as you go forward. Okay, so your think of your pelvis like a bowl, and you're pouring water out from the back. Okay, and you're pouring water out from the front. Okay, and we're gonna go find somewhere in the middle. Okay, so there's still a little bit of a curve in your back here. You almost feel like you're sitting on a piece of bone underneath. Okay, and your chest is a little bit taller as well. Okay, so what we're going to do a lot today is going to be almost think of tractioning your head up or lengthening your body. Okay, so you can imagine just grabbing your head, okay, and you're just almost imagine pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Okay, so you're getting taller through the spine. Okay, and then a little bit wider through the shoulders. Okay, so kind of shoulders a little bit back, a little bit down. Okay, so you want to kind of see your head on top of your shoulders. Okay, and your shoulders on top of your hips. Okay, and still a little bit of a curve. So not overdoing it. Okay, just a little bit of a curve here. Okay, and that's kind of our neutral position. Okay, so from here, we're going to just start to take a few breaths. Okay, so we take a breath in. Okay, and you're just going to be more aware of which part of your body is expanding as you breathe in. Okay, which part is kind of shrinking in as you breathe out. Okay, so see if you can still keep the few things in mind. So still your pelvis is kind of in the right alignment. Okay, your spine is lengthened to the ceiling, shoulders a little wider. Okay, and then afterwards, we can try to shift more of breathing to our diaphragm. Okay, so just to review, we can breathe. There's a couple of breathing ways we can breathe, but primarily our lungs expand and then air gets sucked into our body. So it's like an upside down syringe. So when you pull the syringe down, the amount of space inside the syringe expands and air gets sucked in. Okay, so we're going to start from the bottom. Okay, so still keep the same few things in mind. Okay, we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to put just maybe around the belly button level. Okay, a little off to the side. You can lightly press your fingers into your belly. Okay, and as you breathe in, see if you can push your fingers out. Okay, so as you take a breath in, Let's see if you can get this gets pushed out a little bit. As you breathe out, this should sink back in a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna get a little closer, so maybe a little easier to see. Okay, turn this light on as well. Okay, so still good posture first. Okay, as you belly button level, take a breath in. Belly gets expands. Okay, and also you're not also not trying to push it out this way. It's just naturally as you breathe in, your diaphragm goes down, your internal organs almost gets pushed out as a result. Okay, so let's try maybe 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, and see if you can also relax your shoulders as you do it as well. So I know we're holding our hands up. Okay, so that's the bottom level where we use primarily a diaphragm. Okay, the second way we can take breath in is also our ribs expand out to the side. Okay, so you can find your chest bone. Okay, so there's a piece of bone here, something we call the sternum. Okay, so just go to the bottom of it, okay, and go out to the side. So roughly where you'll find your ribs. Okay, so as you breathe in, so get your thumb almost to the side of your ribs. Okay, as you take a breath in, see if you can lightly press your fingers out. Okay, so this does take a little bit more awareness. It's a small movement. Also, we're just doing 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, still being aware of what our posture is doing. So naturally, after a while, we're going to get slouched more and more. Okay, but we want to be expanding our chest a little bit. Okay, just to give our lungs more room to expand. You can also even give it a try. So if you try to take a deep breath in with the tall posture, and then compare it to if you're slouching and try to take a deep breath in, you'll find it's much more restricted, of course, when you are slouching. So if you can get into a taller posture, that'll be a little better. Okay, and the third level will be, so not necessarily not high number is not better than the lower number. It's just that you can think of it 1, 2, third level. It's just your lungs can also expand. So when people are very anxious and they start to hyperventilate, or you might see their shoulders rise up and down a lot. Okay, so go to almost the bottom of your armpits. Okay, and just go a little more in front. So usually I like to do it kind of cross-armed. Okay, so as you take a breath in, see if you can feel your shoulders rising up and down a little bit. Okay, so this is the one that when you start to use this, you might start to feel a little lightheaded just because you're using the bottom and the top at the same time now. Okay, so if you feel lightheaded, just stop at any point, or even just move out a little bit. Just any sort of marching or any sort of moving your arms, that will help. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So usually when we're resting, we want to primarily use the diaphragm. It's just a more efficient way to breathe. Okay, so that muscle is pretty much built just to breathe in and out. Our primary is just to breathe in. When we're working hard, when we look exercise, we are going to start to use almost what we call chest breathing or shoulder breathing. If you do that too much, your shoulders and everything is going to get kind of tight because it's pretty much doing this like thousands of times every day if you just only use this. So this is going to get very tense. Your nervous system is also going to get ramped up. So you're going to feel when you start to use this, your body thinks, okay, you are in some sort of stress because you primarily decided to be used when you're in a stressful situation. So when you start to breathe too much for the chest, your nervous system gets increased, okay, and you get into more of a fight or flight scenario in terms of nervous system, okay, and your body doesn't really rest. Okay. On the opposite side, when you start to breathe more in the diaphragm, they do find your body tends to relax a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to just do this one more time, okay, but we are just going to bring it more of a 3D scenario into it again. So your body doesn't just expand forward, okay, it also expands all the way around. Okay, so same with your ribs. Your ribs go from your chest, kind of wraps around to your back, to your spine. Okay, so also expand not just to the side, but technically forward and back. Same the chest a little bit. So we're going to use, it's hard to kind of wrap our hands all the way around, so we're going to use a band to help us. So what you're going to do is going to, at the same level, so belly button level first, okay, you're just going to wrap the band around that level a little bit. Okay, so you don't have to tie too hard, just enough so that you can feel there's a little bit of tension, so you can feel expanding or feel your body kind of pulling against the band or pushing out against the band. So the band is just functioning as our fingers before, but all the way around. Okay, so you can either kind of pull it tight, or if you want, you can tie a knot, or you can even just tuck it in a little bit. Okay, then you don't have to hold your hand too much. Okay, so depending on you. Okay, so same idea. Let's try 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, and you are just going to, once again, wash your posture first as well. So pour water out from the front a little bit. Make sure there's a little bit of curve in your back. Okay, and think of tracks pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Okay, stack everything on top. Shoulders kind of wider and relaxed. Okay, and you're just going to take a couple of breaths in. Okay, see if you can feel your body kind of pressing out against the band in all directions. Okay, so you might have to, sometimes we have to make it a little tighter. Okay, so it takes a little bit of awareness. Do what is comfortable for you as well. Okay, so if it's not comfortable, just untie it. Okay, so once again, try to breathe into the band. Okay, 3 to 5 breaths. Okay, and you don't have to try too hard. If it's uncomfortable at any points, just stop. Okay, so I'm going to start to feel a little lighter, so I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm just going to move a little bit, so you can move in any way. If you have lung condition, inside. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So yeah. So so that you're not trying to like tie it really hard. You're just trying to use this as a feedback so that you can feel as you breathe in, you can feel it kind of pressing out in front, but also kind of a little bit all the way around as well. Okay, so it's the same in the fingers, except we're not poking ourselves all the way around. We're just using the band to give us a little bit of a feedback. Okay, but the same principle applies. Yeah, you don't have to, and you don't have to tie too hard either. Okay, and then no worries. Yeah, and then the second one, once again, is the base of the chest bone. Okay, same, kind of roughly the same thing. So still, once again, don't have to do it too hard. Okay, so once again, see if you can. This one might be more obvious with the all the way around, okay, because our ribs do wrap all the way around. Okay, so. Okay, so try to get a deeper breath in. And a deeper breath out. Okay, so around 4 breaths is when I start to feel slightly lightheaded. So I'm going to stop here. Okay, feel free to do it multiple times if you want to, or just do it even once or twice. Okay, so, and then the top level. So we're just doing this as a, just being more aware, okay, but you can also kind of tuck it right into your armpits. Yeah, once again, wrap it around the top of the chest. This one might be easier if you just do this. Okay, and once again, Okay, so just being more conscious of which part you're using as you breathe in and out. Okay, so you can, it's more obvious with the band as well that you can see my chest rising up and down as well. Okay, so this one about 3 times or 4 times or more, so you can feel a little difference. It's already being lightheaded, so let me stop. Okay, feel free to shake it out at any point. Okay, so that was just making us more aware of how we're breathing. So during your day-to-day, you can see, okay, am I doing more chest breathing? Okay, and if I am, that might happen more often if you have some sort of lung disease like COPD. See if you can bring it back down to the bottom 2. Okay, so see if you can definitely use the diaphragm a little bit more. Okay, so that's the one where you better expand. Use your ribs a little bit more. So if you have lung problems, this part is going to be a little bit overstretched already. So you're going to have to focus on opposite as well. So not only do we need to focus on breathing in, we also want to breathe out as well. So as you breathe out, see if you can kind of let your belly just kind of loosen or sink in. For the ribs, as you breathe out, see if you can imagine bring your ribs down, okay, without slouching down. Okay, so as you take a breath in, the ribs expand. As you breathe out, imagine trying to bring your ribs back down, okay, but without slouching. Okay, so people with lung disease tends to be overexpanded a little bit here as well. Sometimes we call that barrel chested. Okay, so see if we breathe. Okay, so just one more kind of practice in this position. Okay, we're going to just do, sometimes we call it ladder breathing. So we're going to start from the bottom first, okay, and then into the ribs, okay, and a little bit up top. Okay, so use most of this, a little bit of this, okay, and just tiny bit of this. Okay, so you can use a band to help you if you want to, or you can, if you can be more aware, you can just try. Okay, so once again, good position. So we don't have to stay like this all the time. We do want to change the position. If we stay any position for too long is not good for us. So you can feel free to just stretch your back at any points. Okay, but when we're practicing, let's try to have a little bit taller, a little bit wider. Okay, so once again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, start more of the bottom. Okay, so as you take a breath in, your belly expands, your ribs expand, and you take a really big breath in, your shoulders comes up as well. Okay, as you breathe out, kind of opposite happens. Shoulders comes down, ribs comes down, belly sinks in. Okay, so we try 3 to 5 times as well. Okay, so belly, ribs, okay, and then chest. And once again, stop at any point. Okay, so once again, usually you don't have to don't use too much of the chest breathing. Use the kind of the belly and also ribs a little bit more. Okay, so let's put it more into practice. Okay, so this one we are going to be doing a little bit more standing. If you use any support you need to. Okay, so we're going to just do a little bit of a almost simplified Tai Chi a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry if you actually know Tai Chi. This is going to be very simplified. Okay, it's not going to be maybe proper Tai Chi, but it's a simpler version that maybe makes it easier to learn. Okay, so if you need a walker, if you need a chance, grab it already. Okay, at any point, if you feel like you need to sit down, also stop as well. Okay, so you can see a grid here. This is just a visualization for you to kind of see how, what we're doing. Okay, so your feet is roughly going to be kind of armpit apart. Okay, so I kind of measured it and I kind of taped it out. So there's a couple of squares here. Okay, so feet are aligned. Okay, so what we're going to do first is also going to start from the base up as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is going to lightly push the floor apart. Okay, so imagine I'm trying to, you see the squares, imagine I'm trying to make the squares bigger by pushing the floor apart. Okay, so just lightly, so you're going to engage your hips a little bit. Okay, your knees are naturally going to be track over the knees a little better. You might find that your arch of your feet also comes up a little bit. So it goes from like more flat and then comes up a little bit. Okay, so once again, you don't have to try too hard, but we're just creating almost a solid base. Okay, so naturally push it out slightly. Okay, so we're going to start with the posture again. Okay, so what you're going to do first, usually just bring bring your shoulders a little wider, a little further down. Okay, imagine once again, pulling your head. So this is almost like a cue for yourself. So try to pull, traction your head up to the ceiling. So you lengthen into the entire body. So you're standing taller. A lot of people, if they sit a lot, they're going to start to hang their butt out a little bit more because they're pretty tight in front. So what you're going to do is going to bring the belt a little bit higher up. Okay, so I'm actually going to start from this square just to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so once again, lightly press the floor apart. Okay, shoulders a little wider. Okay, traction your head up to the ceiling. Okay, so lengthen your entire body. Okay, and almost bring if you're wearing belts like me, just bring your pelvis forward, front of the pelvis up, like we're sitting down, we're just tilting the pelvis forward and back. Okay, so we're starting from not here, but level off our belts a little bit more. Okay, so get a position for us. Okay, and let's practice the same thing again. Okay, so we'll start the belly breathing, the wrist breathing, and then just a tiny bit of the, try not to even use the chest now, primarily use the bottom two. Okay, so let's try to keep everything in mind. So it's good posture first, solid base of the feet. Okay, and as you take a breath in, belly expand, ribs expand. Okay, and try to have less tension in the shoulders. Okay, so let's take a breath in. Okay, once again, through the 5 breaths. Okay, and relaxing for a second. Okay, so let's add a little bit of motion to it. So it's just kind of basic Tai Chi 101. We're just going to add our hands to it. Everything remains the same. Your feet are also still at a solid stance. Okay, so same position, still. So we look at the hands first. So what you're going to do is you're going to just as you breathe in, you're going to bring your hands up. Okay, imagine you're brushing or painting a wall. You can bring your hands up. Okay, roughly to shoulder level. Try not to shrug. So always try to see if you pull your shoulders a little bit down and towards the back a little bit. Okay, as you breathe out, you're going to bring your hands closer together and you're just going to gently open the fingers and you almost imagine pressing something down towards the floor. Okay, so from the side, you're just gently brushing a wall, painting a wall upwards. Okay, as you reach shoulder height, you're just going to bring your hands a little closer together and you're just going to imagine opening hand up gently as you press there. Okay, but you're going to still keep in mind all the other things we talk about. Okay, so tall spine, also incorporate the breathing into it as well. Okay, so your body has to get used to kind of the breathing in different position, in different movements. Okay, so we're going to start off with this. Okay, so once again, feet will be about armpit width apart. Gently push the floor apart. Okay, shoulders a little bit wider. Lengthen, so start this will be short. Lengthen your body up. Okay, and gently tilt your belt buckle upwards. Okay, just so that your belt is level, your pelvis is leveled. Okay, and you're just going to take a breath in. Still try to breathe in the belly and then the ribs. Just a shoulder height or so. Okay, start to bring your hands closer to your body as you breathe out. Gently open the hands and pressing down. Okay, so just do this at your own pace. Okay, about 3 to 5 times. Okay, and just try and use as little tension as you can in your arms, in your chest, in your shoulders. Okay, once again, just about 3 to 5 times. Okay, so that's kind of simplified Tai Chi 101. This is very basic. Okay, so shake it off a little bit first. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's try 2 things today. Okay, so we're going to add a second movement in. Okay, but still keep in mind, the primary focus, don't worry too much about the movement, focus still on the breathing, still focus on the posture a little bit. Okay, so second movement. So still, so this is where the kind of the grid counts come in handy. Okay, so your feet are still first kind of aligned. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna tilt one foot about 45-degree out. Okay, you're gonna shift your weight over to that leg. Okay, and you're gonna take a step forward of the other foot. Okay, I should go back a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so once again, 45-degree with one foot. Shift your weight over to that side, step forward. Okay, so that should be roughly, the heel should be at least in front of the other heel. Okay, and then you're gonna shift your weight onto that front leg. Okay, so in terms of weight distribution, about 80% on the front leg, 20% here. And the rule is, whichever leg you have the weight on, you're gonna turn your pelvis so that it kind of goes in the same direction. So my knee is going this way, so I'm gonna turn my belly button, turn my hips that way as well. Back leg is straight. Okay, so same thing as posture as before. Shoulders a little back. Traction, lengthen your body. And once again, lift the front of the belt up. Okay, so for most people, because they're tight in the back leg, you're gonna find that your belly expand, it kind of hangs out a little bit and you're somewhat like this. Okay, so make sure that you are lowering your belt. Okay, and your weight is on the front leg. Okay, and just for most people, you're gonna feel almost a stretch in the front of the back leg. Okay, so, okay, and just reset. Okay, and let's try on the other side as well. Okay, so once again, tilt one foot 45 degrees. Okay, shift your weight over that foot. Okay, take a step forward. Okay, still along that line, so the grid line, so it should be just a step forward. Okay, shift your weight onto the front leg, turn your pelvis so that it's facing the same direction as your knee. Okay, back leg is straight. Okay, so once again, try to see if you can be taller, wider for the shoulders, lift that belt up. Okay, straighten out the back leg so you feel, probably for most people, feel a little bit of stretch in the straight leg. Okay, and now let's just try to do this motion while we're keeping on the breathing in mind. Okay, so it's a very, very simple way of practicing weight shift. Okay, so if this is easy for you to work on the balance, see if you can lift your leg without moving your body too much. Okay, so as you step forward and back, see if you can really shift your weight between the 2 feet. Okay, so you should be able to, when I'm in the back, I should be able to just tap my feet. Okay, if I'm in the front, I should be able to kind of lift the back foot out a little bit. That's how I know most of my weight is on either leg. Okay, so let's just try it. Let's practice this step, but with all the breathing in mind as well. Okay, so once again, starting off in a good position. Okay, so taller for the spine, a little bit wider for the shoulders, pelvis lifting up slightly. Okay, so still, let's just do 1 or 2 breaths first. Okay, and whenever you're ready, see if you can just go through this motion Okay, while still keeping all those things in mind. Oops. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so toes turn out 45 degrees. Shift your weight over to that leg. Take a step out along the same line. Shift your weight over the leg, turning your pelvis so that it's facing the same direction. Okay, once again, don't let your belly hang out. Bring your belt side up, still tall posture. Okay, and if you want to check, see if you can lightly tap the back foot. That's how you know most of your weight is in the front leg. It can be a little tiring on your thigh muscles as well. Okay, shifting back. Okay, you can add a little bit of pause. See if you can lightly tap. So that's how you know most of your weight is in the back leg again. Okay, step back. And tuck your feet back in. Okay, so once again, pause at any point. Okay, so let's take a little bit of break. So I know sometimes you might feel a little, you have lung issues, you might feel a little bit tired from standing for so long. Okay, so we're gonna take a break first. So we're gonna take a break from standing. We're gonna do a little bit of sitting down, and we're gonna add a little bit of kind of pressurized breathing or compressed breathing, just to make it a little. So the idea is we're gonna make it a little harder for one side of our kind of lungs to work. So you're gonna have to get a little more work to breathe into that side. Okay, so but let's pause for a second. If you feel out of breath, if you have lung condition, do the percept breathing. So that's the one where you make a U of the mouth. Okay, and let the air kind of slowly come out. Imagine you're blowing out a candle gently. Okay, what you will find is that naturally your exhalation, your breathing out is going to be a lot longer when you just blow it through like a U shape in the mouth. Okay, and that helps with people with COPD or some sort of lung condition. Okay. Sorry, yeah, go on, Denise. Yeah, so people with COPD, yeah. So with people with COPD, the air gets trapped in your lungs. So you need to lengthen your exhalation in order to get all the kind of air out. Also keeps the airways open a little bit more. That helps with the kind of the oxygen carbon dioxide exchange inside our lungs. Okay, so if you're walking, if you're lung condition and you're walking, do the percept breathing. Or when anytime you're out of breath, try to see if you can do the percept breathing a little bit. Okay, so right now, let's just try another kind of drill. Okay, so if you have osteoporosis, if you have back problems, don't do this too hard. Just very gently is fine. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn a little sideways. Okay, and then you're gonna tilt side. Or you're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna tilt a little sideways and then turn into it. Okay, so what you're doing is you're creating less space on for myself, the left side of my body. Okay, so I'm going to try to breathe into this side. Okay, so as you breathe in, see if you can still, naturally you might even feel more of the air going here, but see if you can get the air here as well. So try to breathe in. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 to 5 times. Okay, you can also do that up as well. Okay, but I'm still turning a little bit. Okay, and crunching down a little bit. Okay, less space on this side. Okay, and I'm just trying to breathe into the same side that has less space. Okay, because I don't have any back problems or backbone problems, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit more. Okay, don't try too hard if you do have any of the background osteoporosis. Okay, and I'm still trying to take a deep breath in and out into the area that has less space. Okay, and you can come back up a little bit. Okay, we also stretch this part out a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do the this one. If you have a chair backrest, you can also do sitting again as well. So if you feel like it's pretty tiring, just stay sitting there. Okay, so this one would be 1 foot forward, 1 foot almost flat. A little bit more the back leg, try to cross it behind a little bit more. Okay, so our body is connected, so our legs is connected out to the side this way. Okay, so we're just going to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, so 1 foot's behind the other. Okay, one hand out a little bit. Okay, and just trying to take a breath in first into the side of the arm up. Okay, and if that feels okay, tilt your body sideways a little bit more. So probably feel a little bit of stretch on this side. Okay, if you do 5 breaths, if you feel tingling in your hands, then you can stop. Okay, take as long as you need in between. Again, feel free to last even longer. Okay, and let's repeat on the other side. Okay, so still 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The back leg, if you're standing, cross it behind a little bit more. Okay, one arm high up. Okay, so take a breath in here first. See if you can breathe into the open side. Okay, start to side lean a little bit. Okay, and coming back once again. Okay, and shaking ring out. Okay, so to end off, let's just practice the very simplified Tai Chi one more time, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so this might be a little bit of a shorter class. Okay, but if you feel like that's too much, just feel free to do it sitting down as well. Okay, but let's just practice breathing in the standing position again. Okay, so feet once again roughly armpit width apart. Okay, lightly press the floor apart slightly. So a little bit of an arch in the feet, a little bit of engagement in the hips. Lengthen your entire body, so go taller. Think of you pulling your head up towards the ceiling. Get shoulders a little bit wider, so a little bit back, slightly down. Okay, level off your pelvis. Okay, so lift the front of the pelvis up, okay, while standing tall. Okay, so you feel like your abs will probably be a little bit tight in here already just because we are usually too tight in front. Okay, so let's just try to take a breath in here while maintaining all of the previous points. Okay, still try to breathe into the belly first, okay, and a little bit of the ribs. Okay, and when you're ready, okay, when you move the arms as well, so that will just be breathing in, bring arms up, shoulders as little tension as you can. Okay, bring your arms closer in. Open up the hand gently as you press, imagine pressing something down. Okay, let's try it 3 to 5 times. Okay, and once again, see where your body is at again. So still lengthen through the body, shoulders still relaxed, pelvis still tucked up a little bit. Okay, and we're going to add the weight shifting side to side again. Okay, so that one, you're just going to shift your weight over one side, turn one foot about 45 degrees. Okay, still try to see if you maintain the top posture, pelvis up, the front of the belly buckle up. Okay, shift your weight over to that leg. Okay, take a step forward. Okay, shift your weight over the front foot. Okay, pelvis same direction as the front leg or the front knee. Okay, once again, belt buckle up, shoulders back and down, lengthen the body. Okay, and I forgot to mention as you go back, so we're going to do, let's try shifting back front to back a few more times. As you turn to this front back, also face your pelvis in the same direction as your back leg. Okay, so as you turn, shift back, your pelvis also turn as well. Okay, let's just try shifting side to side. You feel a little bit of stretch in the back leg. And let's go back. Okay, and we're just going to finish off with the other side. Okay, so we're going to try shifting sideways a few times and then go back. Okay, so other way, so 45-degree the foot on one side. Shift your weight over. Take a step to the, imagine the square, take a square to the front square. Just shift your weight forward. Turn your pelvis. Still standing tall. Okay, see if you can maybe even lightly tap the foot. Okay, that's how you know most of the weight on the front leg. Okay, shift back. Pelvis point in the same direction as your knee. Okay, once again, see if you can tap the front foot. Okay, and let's try shifting front to back a few times. Still paw posture, still trying to breathe into the diaphragm and ribs. Okay, bring your foot back. Point your feet back forward. Okay, so let's stop here for today. So it's just, the main idea is really, is just trying to breathe into the diaphragm the ribs. Okay, and we're just going to practice doing this in different kind of posture or different kind of standing or moving or not. I might not use I might not use a harmonica just because I don't think everyone has harmonica. Last time I also realized you didn't hear anything because I have some sort of filter on my microphone, and it also cuts off the harmonica as well. So yeah, that's good. I can show you a few things maybe another time so you can practice at home as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you don't have to so just slow it. So kind of mash your arms at the same rate as your hands. So the goal is just to slow down your breathing a little bit more. But at the beginning, if you feel like it's way too slow, by the time you're here, you're already out of breath. You just move a little bit faster at the beginning, but try to see if you can slow it down a little bit by practice. No problem. Okay, so yeah, this class definitely a little different. It might not be for everyone. Yeah, and also it's going to be a very simplified Tai Chi, so it's not going to be proper Tai Chi. So hopefully everyone still find at least somewhat useful. Don't feel pressure to continue the class if you don't feel like it's useful for you. Okay, just find something that works for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For lung condition, COPD, they do find that Tai Chi is has its place as well. So it's almost just as good as walking in some sense, because you're practicing being comfortably uncomfortable standing. Because people with lung condition, you might be it's very tense just to stand up. So it's just a way for you to get comfortable being in that uncomfortable position, especially for people with lung condition, and be able to move at the same time. Yeah, a little bit of balance there as well. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Partially, it's kind of your legs are strong enough to support your back support. Sometimes a lot of people, walkers, they are so used to anchor themselves down with your hands, so that you have to be more confident in your lower body to support it. That's why Tai Chi can help with those things. Yeah, 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 yeah. So once again, you don't have to sit like this all day long. You're gonna have back pain if you do this. So just that if you at least some of the time, definitely go up when you're doing something more strenuous. Give yourself the best chance to take in the most oxygen and for your lungs to work properly by being in a better posture. No problem. Okay, so thank you for coming, everyone. Maybe you hope if it's useful for you, see everyone maybe next time. Take care. Bye bye.